Um, so, to all my Afrikaans speaking friends, colleagues, family, whoever might know me, I'm going to do this in English because I'm honestly trying to get to as many people as I possibly can. Sitting with something that I've been thinking about all my life and could never understand who I am and why I am who I am, whoever I am. I don't even know myself, and I think a lot of us sit with a very similar situation today. So I'm going to do this in English best I can. I am Afrikaans speaking Greek, so that just gives you a little bit more of how messed up this whole thing is. I'm a first generation Greek. My father lives in Greece. I've seen him once in my life when I was 23 years old. Never knew him for all of my life basically. I'm going to go into depth on that on one of the following videos on this topic. I don't quite know how to address this because going public with your life story is not easy, and especially with a story like mine. So, my name is George, I'm 39 years old. I live in Cape Town. I have probably average lifestyle, bought property in 2016. I've renovated quite a bit, built on, got a small little business, a partner in the business. Me and one of my friends started this. Well, he actually started it. I bought into it. 5 years later, we're still going ups and downs. It's not always easy, but we've got this, and we're trying to make the best of it, and hopefully along the line help some people out if we can. So 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago, I had a truly profound experience where I met God and changed my life in a way that I cannot explain to people. It changed it so much that I'm sitting here today, 39 years old. I have 2 kids, and I'm in the middle of a divorce because of my honesty. And but that's what God told me. He said to me, be honest, and also told me to do what I'm doing today. And I'm hoping that by doing this, we can take the mask off who we are and look at the person from inside and who we're dealing with, because I'm pretty sure even people who know me, you're going to be in for a ride, because you have no idea who I am, where I come from, what I've endured to get here. Hopefully my testimony is an eye-opener for a lot of people out there to think about how we deal with people. So brief idea of where I come from. So I might tear up in this because I don't talk about this often. I don't like to talk about this, but I think it needs to be said. I think we need to know who we're dealing with, and I think we honestly need to be open and honest about who we are, and then look at the next guy on the street different, because you don't know what he's going through, or what is in his mind, or what he's experienced, or even on the day you meet him, what is going, or what has happened to him that particular day. So just a brief idea of where I come from is, so I grew up with my grandparents for most of my life, most of my childhood life, I can put that. My grandparents had 9 children. Out of the 9 children, it's 3 women and 6 men. The 6 men, I've only met 4. The 2, I guess, ran away as soon as they could. Probably never looked back, I don't know. I cannot comment because I honestly don't know them. And I honestly also don't know if it was as bad as I can remember, but I'm going to make it public, and maybe I'm just soft, I don't know, soft. My grandparents, like I said, had 9 children, 3 women, and all 3 women today have committed suicide. My youngest aunt, as far as I know, was the youngest. She committed suicide at 18. My mother committed suicide when she was around about 28, as far as I know. I was in the house the evening it happened. I actually experienced it all, I witnessed it all. And yeah. My last aunt shot herself about 8-9 years ago. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't have much contact with her. I'm going to get into detail about my family and how I fit in, where I fit in. So out of my life, as far as I can, when I stopped counting at least, is I went to over 20 primary schools. That was up till standard 4, grade 6, I think. Yeah, grade 6. And so that just explains to you. And then out of the 20 schools, they were in 3 different provinces, 4 different provinces for that matter. So I moved a lot, very unstable. I think it's very unstable for a kid to not have his roots. And out of the 20 schools, one was a hostel when I was, I think, sub A, grade 1, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been grade 2, not 100% sure. It was a horrific experience. It's all I can remember. I didn't like it at all. I think I was a broken kid who didn't fit in, and it wasn't the ideal hostel either. It's the ones where the welfare sends you to when people can't afford to keep you around. So I went to the hostel in Excelsior, and it's basically the farmers pay for the hostel and the school pretty much, so that it stays in existence, so that their children doesn't have to be sent away and they can go to a local school. So yeah, I was in the hostel. Like I said, I didn't like it at all. I was beaten. I was the kid at the bottom of the fight where I got kicked to pieces, and I was very stubborn as far as I can remember. So I don't think it was a good experience for me. I also struggled with, which I now know is trauma, because I used to pee in my bed till very late in my life, and it was quite humiliating walking down the passages with a wet mattress. It wasn't nice. I didn't like it at all. It's sure, yeah. Then from there, I moved a lot. I was pretty much out of my grandparents' house at the age of 12, in and out. I lived across the street with a guy. I'm going to go into detail of that, about that in one of my later videos. And eventually at 15, because of all the abuse and just, it was horrific. I walked out and I didn't walk back. And when I was 17 years old, I went to court and I signed papers that basically stated that I'm an adult and I was going to look after myself, because I had given up, and I thought that it's best for me to just look after myself and decide my own destiny. And with grace, I'm still here today, battered, bruised, broken, but I'm here, I'm still fighting, still trying to make the best of each day. My vision for this is, sorry, I've got to read here. Never done this before, and I'm a bit nervous and a bit emotional. It's a bit of mixed feelings in between, so if you guys can bear with me, please. It's like I said earlier, the idea is for people to start looking at one another for who they really are, instead of just looking at where they are in their lives and expect or not expecting, but just not giving it a second guess as who they are, and what they really are, and what made them the person they are. So hopefully at the end of this, when we go through this journey, some people will know who I am, and then some other people might just have the courage to face who they are and accept who they are, and fight another day, I guess. So the lifestyle I've faced led to addiction upon addiction upon addiction, and addiction is any form of addiction. If drugs, women, pornography, gym, anything that could occupy my mind, or anything, I would say rather, instant gratification, something that made me feel accepted for who I am at the moment. I got hooked on absolutely everything, and I can honestly say today that I can thank God that the last burden has been taken away from me, and I'm hopefully a better person today. It's been 8 months, and it's been 8 tough months, but I believe that I'm on the right path, and that doesn't matter how difficult things are, we need to face it head on. So the idea behind this is we all need to come to repentance, and repentance is a big word. It's to utterly regret what you've done in your life and try and be better. Now, I can honestly say that I've done some gruesome things in my life, and I'm not trying to run away from anything that I've done. I'm actually here today doing this, deciding that I'm going to face everything I've done face head on. Doesn't matter what the outcome is. Hence my slogan, tell the truth or at least don't lie, because let me tell you, it's a journey, and you don't know the outcome if you're truthful, and I think we need to be honest in everything that we do. Instead of saying what people want to hear, I think it's time that we say what they need to hear, and people need to accept who we are, and we need to accept who we are. And that way, at least we can have an honest living, and honest friends, and honest family, and honest everything for that matter. So at the end of this, I'm hoping that some people can reconcile with God, and I definitely have. I thank Him every day for getting me to where I am, because as you're going to find out in some of the videos that I'm going to share, it's only a blessing that I'm still around. I should have died a long time ago. I actually have died once or twice, but I'm still here today. And at the end of this, I'm hoping that we don't fail the children as I was failed my whole life, and as I've pretty much failed my own children, because I don't think I ever know who I am. Some days I don't know, but for the most of it, I think I have a level head, and I think I'm quite capable of managing life for the better part of it in any way. So something to think about, and this is it's a profound question, and nobody has to answer this, but it's just something that I want you guys to really honestly think about. Who in your life have you not deceived before? Because I can honestly sit here today and say there's nobody in my life I know that I have not deceived in some or another way. And that just gives you an idea of what type of generation we are. And God said that the last generation is a very deceitful one. I'm not saying we're the last generation, but I'm saying the sin is stacking up, and we need to have a second look at who we are. And I don't think we are the best we can be, and I honestly think that this whole generation is in dire need of help, I don't know what the help is, but I honestly think that most of the kids in my generation have been failed by the system, whatever the system may be. Like I've mentioned, I come through the whole welfare system, and I eventually asked to look after myself at the age of 17 on the streets, doing my own thing, and here I am today, still going, have a small business, have an average type of life, but nobody understands or know the struggles that I'm still facing today. And then just to end this one, and hopefully people will look at this and give it a second thought and follow me on this journey, because trust me, the rabbit hole's deep. It's deep. It's deep. I've been in places, I've seen things that I wish upon nobody in this life. And although my story might be deep and hurtful and deceitful, probably everything that you can think of, there are people that are going through a whole lot worse than what I've endured in my life, and nobody knows it. And some people don't make it. We see them on the streets on a daily basis, and we don't give them a second thought. We don't give them a second look, and those are God's people, as we are. Also, just to end this off, not to drag it out too long, because like I said, I'm going to do this in a couple of videos, and we're going to go into it in depth, and I'm going to be open and honest about absolutely everything that I've endured through my life. So just something that I want to finish this off is, if you want to follow this, please like, share, subscribe, because let me tell you something, unlike the Titanic, whose owner said not even God can sink the ship, I'm sitting here today saying it's only God that could have kept this one afloat. So if you would follow me, I would appreciate it, and hopefully at the end of this we can honestly make a difference in people's lives, and everybody has a second look at the next person out in the streets.